Hello. Okay. All right. I guess now everyone can. Can you guys hear my voice? Uh, can you hear me too? So wait. All right. So it's kind of weird. I can only interact with everybody so much. Um, However, we will try and make it all work. Uh, just a quick question. What kind of an audience am I facing right now in terms of uh, what uh, what kind of education level everybody is, and what kind of, so are you all guys going into your first jobs, or is everybody uh, moving towards higher education? I'm just trying to gauge gauge my audience here. Could somebody give me a link share here? So we are professional workers. Perfect. Are there any freshers here right out of college? Uh, I guess I'll start by a little bit about me. So I joined OUG very long time back, probably OUG 6 or something, and I was doing my engineering at that time. And after my engineering, I gave CAD and I did my MBA in India. Worked for a few years with a London listed metal and mining major, and then in consulting for a little bit. And now I'm here in US doing my MBA, and I've just started working with iLumi Solutions, which makes the smartest bulbs on the planet. Uh, and it's funded by Mark Cuban. In case any of you guys do not know, Mark Cuban is a he is the guy who is behind PayPal and Tesla. So he's been around. He's a billionaire and he knows where to invest and all. So that kind of uh, authenticates the genuinity of a startup. So yeah, now when we so let me first talk about higher education options. When we talk about higher education, uh, there are a few things we need to know. Uh, so unfortunately, I do not have any slides for higher education, and I'm not going to be talking on it for a very long time. And I'm going to go to job search, because at the end of the day, at the end of higher education, also, what you want to do is get to your dream job and get to your dream career and work there. So when you're talking about higher education, uh, you need to internally look at what do you want to do. When you're doing engineering, you are in a rosy world, or probably being forced into it by your parents or your peers. You might want to be a finance guy. You might want to be sharing stocks, an equity guy. You might want to be an admin guy or a human resource guy, but you necessarily did not want to be an engineer. And that is why you would want to go for a higher education. And even if you wanted to be an engineer, there is no harm in increasing your qualification. So your higher education needs to be in sync with your future goals. Uh, and that would happen only when you very truly introspect what you want to be in future 10 years down the line and plan your goals accordingly. So I wanted to be in business. I wanted to head an organization, and so I did an MBA right after engineering. And then I later realized that in order to head a big organization, I needed to have a big network, and I needed to have a greater communication skill. I needed to be in a geography where I could succeed, and India wasn't the place where I could see myself going to a C-level position. So I wanted to take a shortcut there, and I came here to US. So that's how I planned it. I did an MBA in marketing. Now I'm doing and with a minors in human resource. Now I'm doing an MBA in supply chain operations with a minor in finance. So it's a cohesively complete broad profile. So you need to understand how you do it. Now, once you decide what you want to do, if an MBA or something, I highly, highly, highly recommend do not do an MBA from a college which is not brand established. You would want to be in a college where the brand reputation is going up, because you want to be coming out of an education institute where the value increases every year you are in it or you're outside it. I did my first MBA from Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management. At that point of time, I scored as 94 percentile in CAT and got in there. And it wasn't probably the best thing because the value has depreciated so much. It's not even, it's nowhere. Um, uh, it's not, at that time it was in top 20. Now it's nowhere. So it wasn't really a very good decision then. But this time around, when I'm doing my MBA, I know that this particular college, it's climbing FT rankings every year, and it's probably one of the fastest movers in this industry. So always select a college, always select an educational institution which is going up in the reputation. Frankly, employers want to see a brand. They, however talented you are, they do not want to be first guessing your talents and qualities. They want someone else to validate it for you. And who validates it for you is your college. If you are a pass out of MIT, the employer obviously knows that you're technologically very savvy. If you are out of Harvard, he knows that you have excellent business acumen. So they don't want to do that. They don't want to second guess themselves. Uh, they want someone else to do it for them, and that is how it works. Uh, so let's look at what employers are looking for. So once you go for an interview or something, or once you send across your resume, so how many of us had to search jobs off portal? Uh, for example, say through LinkedIn, through other career web pages, through directly companies' profiles, um, through through all sorts of things, which did not necessarily mean on-campus interviews where somebody was already waiting for you to schedule it. Did anybody do that kind of a job search? Can I have some responses on the TitanPad public page? Uh, I don't. Wait. Are we on air? Okay, so we are on air. Can you guys actually chat on the Google Hangout page? I think I turned that on as well. This feature is disabled. Okay, perfect. So as long as we're working. So did you guys? So once you try and figure out and send your resumes across via various web pages to employers who are not coming directly to your colleges, because very sure your dream company would not come to your college, or if it comes to your campus, it's not going to take you. It's going to take one of your friends. So how do we get to your dream company? How do we target it? The employer is usually looking for the first impression, um, and that impression. So once an employer receives your resume, they decide in 20 seconds or lesser. 20 seconds is on a higher side. If they will be keeping you in a big pile of paper which is going to get dumped, or if they are going to look at your profile and actually call you for an interview. So uh, it is the make or break decision is basically made in the first 10-15 seconds. So how on earth somebody can judge a person's entire life worth of education and talents in just 15 seconds? It's ridiculous. However, it's the truth. These people are looking for something different from what everyone else has on their resume. They're looking for a job fit and a culture fit to come out of your resume. And how do you do that? Uh, so we'll discuss some of those tips and tricks to do those kind of things. Uh, and also, they are so once they have selected your resume and they're going to interview you, they are necessarily looking how dependable are you. Can the hiring manager, can he delegate his tasks, his work to you and relax at home, not worry about it? If that is you, you're going to be his favorite. So how do you prove that you are that person? Uh, and the third thing is your skills and experience and training. Because if you are supposed to be dependable, if you can handle his work, then do you actually have the skills or the experiences, or can you be trained to do those things? So when an employer asks, uh, you know, he asks you to describe your technical skills, 3 out of 4 people are unable to describe their skills in an interview. And this is not because they do not have skills. This is because they are not able to communicate what the employer is looking for. Do we read the job description very carefully? Do we understand the needs of the company? Do we know our audience? Do we know what they're looking for? It is so easy to speak what's on your mind, but it is very difficult to really identify what your audience wants to hear. And as long as you can deliver what your audience wants to hear, uh, you would be a hit amongst your audience. So same works with the interviewer. You need to tell him what he likes to hear. For suppose for an example, a company is looking for an iOS developer. You need to tell him all those little keywords around iOS development in the interview so that he can grasp your knowledge in it. You need to throw him a bone. Suppose I want people to talk to me about my Chinese leadership experience. I was leading a team in China, a 40-member team in China. So I just threw out a bone that I love Chinese food, and that came out because I was traveling to China and actually led a team there, and that is somewhere in the middle of my tell me about yourself speech, and they it's interesting, and they pick it up, and they ask me about it. So you need to understand your best favorite story and put it in the tell me about yourself. So like I said, what do the employers want? They want the the most important factor, and this was these top four came out of a survey which Forbes did a long time back, and asked how what are the traits which our employer wants in the future recruits they're getting. And this survey was done on the Fortune 500. So the most important and critical thing is trainability, or the willingness to learn. There are so many things which are different in the industry from what you have in uh, the schools. So are you willing to learn? Or can they train you? Every company is offering training before you get on job, and can you actually be trained, and you can, and before training, the most important thing is, can you untrain yourself from whatever experiences or whatever culture you're coming from. uh, Now when I came from a very big large conglomerate, uh, Vedanta, uh, I did not have a sense of preservation of money when it came to company. Vedanta has so much cash surplus. If we could not find a solution ourselves, we would buy a solution. But when I went to a startup, money is the biggest constraint. So could I untrain myself from that culture and train myself in the other culture? Willingness to learn is one of the most important parameters for any recruit. Then they obviously want your basic academic skills, reading, writing, computation, and that is validated by your college. And that's what I said when I said that you need to go to a school which has a particular brand attached to it. And that brand is what is going to validate in terms of the in the recruiter's eyes uh, how they would assess your academic skills. and and by and if by any chance you are in a college which is not that reputed, what can you do to come up to that level? There are so many certification agencies out there. um, so you might want to get yourself, say, certified in project management, or in Lean Six Sigma, or there would be so many other certifications for engineers which can be taken. The third most important thing is communication. And I cannot stress enough about this one. Communication is always the make or break deal. You can talk to a person, and even if you do not know anything, you can impress them. And you can talk to a person and you know everything which he needs, and you cannot communicate effectively, and you would be dropped. Therefore, oral communication and the willingness to understand what other is saying, which is listening, is extremely important. uh, and the other big thing is creative thinking and problem solving. So every company knows traditional ways to solve a problem. Today's problems are much more critical and much more complex than how they were a long time back. And therefore, uh, problem solving skills and bringing innovative ideas to the table is a trait which a lot of employers today are looking for. Um, Now, coming to the next slide, self-esteem, goal setting. They want to know how accurate, how do you have an aim in life? Have you set up a goal which is doable? Uh, so things like that are important. Um, are you interested in developing your personal career? Do your career goals align with company's goal? So those are certain things which the organizations and companies look at. Okay, let's move a little faster to job hunting. So how do you find the right job? Job hunting is all about selling yourself accurately. You so before you sell yourself to a job, you need to understand what you want to do. uh, Once you understand what you want to do, uh, you need to start demonstrating in your profile, in your resume, those keywords which say that you can um actually uh, work and show those traits. I'm sorry, I guess my screen sharing kind of stopped. Yeah, can you all see my screen again? I am taking no response for a yes, I guess, and moving forward. Um, so, so you need to market yourself, and that is where communication comes in so handy. You need to create a good impression of yourself in others' eyes, and you need to ace the interview. So choose an occupation. Start with your wish list. What kind of work you've always dreamt of doing? Do you know someone with a job whose job you want to have? Or do you have a hobby which you want to turn into a job? Because frankly saying, you don't want to be doing something which you don't love. You should always go on to do what you love. Do you have the right personality traits to get to that job? And if you don't, the personality traits can still be developed. And if you cannot do it yourself, take someone expert's help. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I could definitely help, or at least tell you who to take help from. So once you've identified what you want to do, you need to demonstrate to the others how you can do the work. Now, how you can do the work is through the skills you have. So to demonstrate that skills, you need to have those skills, and to have those skills, they need to be in your higher education, in your resume, or somehow validated through a certified, through an agency which is recognized. Also, you need to have used those skills, and it's very difficult as a fresher to go into the industry and show that you've used certain skills. Best way is so this is what I learned when I got here. I never had a US work experience. I did not know how to deal with US companies. I mean, I knew, but I could not tell anybody that I dealt with them because I'd never dealt with them. And they would not believe me on my face word that I could deal with them because I could not show them that I had dealt with them. So uh, I went and approached Ericsson, which is very near to our campus, and I told them that I am willing to give them free MBA skilled man hours. If they have a problem, shoot it towards me, and I would want to solve it for them. And I did a couple of projects with them while studying full time, and those really helped. So those projects on my resume really helped. And interestingly, I have actually landed an interview with Boston Consulting Group just because of those problem solving skills which I demonstrated uh, in those two complex projects which Ericsson shot my way. Now, uh, so so you now have everything, uh, your skills. You have done a few projects. You can demonstrate those skills. Now, how do you put that across uh, to the recruiter? Through a resume. Now, once you apply for a job, it's just expected that you would send in a resume, and a resume can make either a good impression or a bad impression. If you have a grammatical error in your resume, it is going to trash. Uh, do not do them. Those are the worst mistakes you could do. Do not have, never use words like you instead of you or things like that. Just be careful. Your resume is a professional document. It's a professional outlook of you, and it needs to be that way. You cannot be very casual with it. I would always suggest use resume paper. It's a thicker version of white paper, uh, a little off-white, but it's thick. And if you're handing it over in paper to any recruiter, I would really suggest that it be done on resume paper. Uh, uh, at this point of time, I would want to tell you guys that if you have any questions at any time, just keep shooting them. It is actually more interactive and it would be better that way. You need to answer with your resume in a cover letter. Why should that company hire you? So with your resume, it is better. It is always good to send a cover letter, and cover letter should contain your elevator pitch. It should not be a word version of your resume. For example, I did my engineering from this college in this on this year in this field, and I got this many percentage in this. And after that, I did my MBA from this college in this year, and I got this much percentage. And after that, I started work. A cover letter cannot have words like that. A cover letter needs to go like, being a military kid, I traveled across India, and in 12 years, I changed 8 schools. Every time I moved, I had to make new friends, and this instilled in me adaptability and openness towards other people and cultures. So now I have used something which is not in my resume, a story from my life, to demonstrate a particular skill which is instilled into my behavior. So that is what you need to use when you're trying to do a cover letter. So those kind of stories. And after one or two of those stories, you need to come to a professional story demonstrating a particular skill which you have used in past work and is a requirement or a mandate for the new work. Also, yeah, and just mention all your skills in there. Mention all your experiences in there. Sometimes in a cover letter or a resume, you might want to, if you have something really exceptional, for example, you won a certain competition which you want to talk about. So you need to very cleverly leave a lead in there which the recruiter would get his eye to. You could use it in italics, which is a good way to do it. Um, and they would get their eyes on it and definitely might ask you a question on it. And then, and acing an interview is all about making the recruiter ask you the questions you want to answer. And if you can do that, you can ace any interview. So what all does a resume need to have? It needs to have a heading, and heading would probably have something like uh, your name, years of experiences, and in brackets your degree. Um, and that needs to go on your subject of your uh, email for the job. Then comes your objective, what you really want to do in the job. What specific job do you want? Um, say, my your objective could be seeking to work in a, top 100 IT company uh, in network security domain, uh, and looking to grow my career in sync with uh, the organization, something like that. Uh, the next needs to come is your education. Now, interesting. If you're coming out of a very reputed college, I would suggest you put your education in there, um, in a very easy tabulated form. Write the name of your college, um, and on the other side, write the years which you've done on a line under it, and not so bold. Write your specialization or a project or something which really stood up in your education. Then but if you are not from a reputed college, I would suggest you put in your projects which have demonstrated those abilities of which a recruiter can use to understand that you can perform. So if I want to demonstrate an ability that I can do Lean Six Sigma, I want to go into supply chain and operations, and I can do Lean Six Sigma. I would so to send to those companies, I would send in a resume where my project with Ericsson's are at the top for Lean Six Sigma and for um, risk assessment and feasibility studies. So uh, that kind of tells them immediately that, oh, so this guy has done Lean Six Sigma in an American corporation, and it's validated, it's Ericsson, it's a big name in the industry. So they are not going to question the fact that I can do supply chain or not. They would only then ask me things which are beyond that. So I've automatically crossed the first hurdle. So that's how you need to put things in your resume. After your education, you definitely need to have a column for skills and abilities, which is demonstrated in terms of your achievements. Uh, and your achievements needs to be achievements. You cannot say that you uh, handled a team of 5 and worked on this. And okay, so it needs to be in a star format. There needs to be a situation. There needs to be a task. There needs to be an action, and then there needs to be a response. So how it works is uh, you need to say something like uh, was awarded, solved an issue of custom duty, uh, solved a complicated custom duty related issue, saving $200 million for the company, and thus awarded star of the business for year this. Now that to me is an achievement, and that is what I would want to mention in my skills and abilities section, because that validates the fact that there was a problem. I used a particular skill to solve it, and then there and in response we won something or we got something, and uh, and I was and if I was given an award for it, that kind of makes the story more genuine. Do marks really matter? I got like 60% in both engineering and 12 standard. So marks matter if you mention them. You so employer is not really looking to look at your marks, because once they're looking at your resume for 10 seconds and making a decision, in order to get an interview, the marks really do not matter. Okay, interestingly, I had a 35 in maths in class 12. So my percentage went really bad. You need to have a justification, because uh, marks would matter in the interview. If they see an anomaly after offering you an interview, they would ask you a question: why did you get 60%? You need to have a justification for that 60%, and that could be really anything. Uh, that could come as because you were sick, or there was some kind of a family problem, or I don't know. I mean, whatever is your genuine problem, I would suggest stick to the truth. Or just say that you do not really love the subjects there, but what you like what you're doing, and if you are saying that, then you need to kind of make it authenticated by proving that what you do is really good, because if you like what you do, you're expected to be good at it. So marks, I don't think they really matter, but if you have good marks, it is always suggested that you put it on there. Now, having said that, uh, let us move to the next area. So how am I going to, so like I said, skills and abilities, how am I going to add some sizzle to it? How am I going to show that you can deliver results? Once you're putting your skills and abilities and achievements, use numbers to show the extent of your problem, or to show the extent of your improvement, or to show your results. Now, by saying that, instead of saying that I implemented a ERP system and thereby improved the supply chain efficiency of the company, I would want to say that I implemented a, ERP system which took in a span of 6 months. I implemented a ERP system which improved the company's efficiency by 12%, thereby saving $160,000. So if I can use my numbers, I can more genuinely validate what my skills are. You need to use buzzwords. Some of these buzzwords are achieved, adapted, advised, assisted. So this is a small sample list of buzzwords, and I'm very sure there are more. And there are different ways to use these buzzwords. If I'm trying to show that I'm a good team player, I would want to use words like coordinated, or uh, adapted, or assisted. If I'm trying to show innovation, I'm going to use words like developed, created, built. Uh, so so there are different words to be used to show different kind of capabilities. Now, your resume, if you have less than 5 years of work experience, it should be just one page, never more than one page. If they're going to make or break decision in 10 seconds, they are definitely not interested in reading 4 pages. If it's 4 pages, they're not even going to give it 10 seconds. So your resume is your sales brochure. Keep it very neat and clean. Okay, so you do not have to list everything you've done in your life in it. You do not have to tell them that you won a nursery rhyme competition and when you were in kindergarten. You need to keep it clean. You need to avoid words. Too many words is bad. Keep it simple, keep it to one page, and just put in those things which show that you are a good fit for the for the company, for uh, show those results which show that you can deliver. Um, so how do you uh, get your resume out there? How do you apply for jobs? So all of us go to all these websites, monster.com, naukri.com, and all. There's a plethora of uh, all these online job portals, and then there are jobs which come on newspapers and all those things. So there are a lot of advertisements. That's one way to find where you're supposed to market yourself. The second way is networking. Now, let us talk about networking after this, because networking, in my opinion, is the way is the best way to get a job, and it's a way which is unmatched. Nobody You cannot get better results from any other way uh, as you can get it through networking. So let's talk about networking at the end. But then you can talk to employment agencies, and there are lots of them in India. And I went to so many of them, and I failed with everyone. None of them could get me a job. Perfect. That is what my review of employment agencies are. Then there is direct mails, which go sometimes not even to the HR's desk. And if it goes to the HR's desk, they probably open it and throw it down in the bin. Very few chances that it'll land up on his table. It could land up on his table, but then you're just lucky. I have no remembrance of any person who has got a job where he has directly emailed or directly mailed his resume to the HR and got an interview call. Now, another way is phone call or cold calling. Phone call or cold calling is good because if you are going to do that, uh, you might understand some opportunities which are not posted, or they might, or if you are really good at communicating and you can impress them in 10 seconds of talking, they might be willing to create a post for you, or they might be willing to interview you to see if they can find any job which you can fit in, and that is a very good way. And after phone call, I would say send a mail or something to say it was good talking to you and getting your um, and understanding the positions and culture and everything, and mention some of the key points which you discussed in our conversations, so that the other person also remembers that that who they talk to and what they talk to, and then send in your resume. So that's a good way. And do not talk the way I'm talking right now in one breath without any tone, dialogue, monetations. And that's a really, really stupid way to talk. And I should not be doing that anymore, anyways. So, yeah. Now, coming back to networking, what exactly is networking? It's not like computer networking, it's like people to people networking. So think about okay, so a lot of us want to work for Microsoft, right? Now, or Adobe. So how am I going to get there? Do I and I know that, oh, Microsoft has opened up a particular position which is very interesting and where I want to work for. So how do I get there? I know that I have skills to be there. Okay, I'm anticipating that you've done your background research, you've read your job description, and you have the right skills and technical skills and everything to fit that particular position. So how am I going to uh, be at uh, Google or Microsoft or Adobe? So for that, I'm going to find out, look at your LinkedIn and find out people who work in Google, or find out, ask your friends or in your connection or the people you know who all has worked there. So once you've done that, uh, you can reach out to these people and ask them to refer you. So how I typically do it is, so suppose I wanted to apply for say Tesla. Now Tesla is a very big name in automotive and electric cars in particular. And I was looking at a supply chain position at Tesla. So what I did was I reached out to anybody and everybody in my professional network on LinkedIn who had any connection with Tesla, who had either done a project with them or who had worked with them or who could introduce me to a third degree connection who had worked at Tesla. So that's how you reach out to people. And once you do that, you send them an email, send them, talk to them. Do not go directly to your work. A person, an accomplished person, hates it totally when somebody reaches out to them just for work. So you need to show that you are useful to them too. So make a small talk, um, exchange one or two emails before, and then say that, oh, I'm looking for a position there. Do you know of somebody who could do that? I see that you're connected to this person who works at Tesla. Can you connect me to them? Or if he's working there, just say that, oh, I was wondering if you could tell me a little more about this particular job description, because since you're working at Tesla and this job is in Tesla, I thought I while applying or before applying, I should take a little more guidance from you. Do you think you could review my CV or and give me some advice? So always get another set of eyes to look at your resume. That just helps you understand some kind of a grammatical error or some kind of problem in them. And it also validates the fact if you are on the right track, understanding the job description for the particular, you kind of validate your fit for that particular job. Uh, Having said that, you just take things further. Uh, so that's how you network. Now, every company wants people. So like I said, employers do not want to second guess themselves. If there is an employee who is a good performer and he's referring somebody that, oh, this guy will be excellent for this job, the recruiter would be very willing uh, to listen to that person and understand that person's and meet that person and interview that person. And that can happen if you network, somebody can send across your resume to the recruiters and get you the right interview call you always wanted. um, So yeah, help wanted ads. I don't think you guys would need any of those. And I also do not think that that's a good way to look at things in India because back in India, help wanted ads are not the kind of help you would be willing to offer. It's for unskilled labor. Let me put it that way. Networking. So, like I said, most employers fill positions with friends and relatives of people who work for them. Ask people you know about job openings where they work. They may help you get an interview. And that's exactly what you want. Once you have that interview, you move to the next step. Talking about employment agencies, they're matchmakers. Most employment agencies specialize. Some agencies recruit people for full-time permanent jobs, other recruit for temporary jobs. I have not gotten anything ever from any recruitment employment agency in India or in Dubai. So I do not really find them very effective. But then it's a personal choice. We talked about direct mail, cold calling, and phone call. So let's just skip these slides. I think I've covered them all when I was talking about them in the previous slides. So uh, so when you're networking with people, how do you get the other person to refer you for a particular job without really asking for it? Um, you know, you could say things like, "Do you know of any employers who may have an opening for someone with my skill sets?" You know, so or say something like, "Do you know of someone else who might know of such an opening? If yes, that person, get that other person's name and phone number." So you this way you're basically getting to a third degree connection on LinkedIn, where a person. So if I reach out to somebody, say Supriya Tyagi is not in my LinkedIn, which I don't think would be by any chance, because he freaking adds everybody on Facebook and LinkedIn everywhere. So suppose he's not in my network, okay? And I ask Vivek that, hey, I'm looking to talk to somebody who has experience in managing a big network of people or a big group of people, and I want to work for them. Do you know of somebody? I am trying to basically feed him information that want to talk to Supriya. And if he doesn't realize it even then, I would say in the next email that, hey, I saw this guy in your on your networks, Supriya Tyagi. He manages this. Remember last time I was showing, I told you that I wanted to work in this kind of a role. Do you think you could uh, introduce me to him? Now, if I was going to talk to Supriya Tyagi directly, it might not be as influential than if Vivek introduced me to him and then he talked to me. So that's just how you get accreditation from somebody else and get to your destination. Okay, so those are some kind of questions you might want to ask when you talk to people. Uh, so uh, I don't think we need introduction to applications. Um, yeah, so I think this is something which is more relevant. Uh, so when there are questions, so there are questions which you fill for online job application portal, which kind of decide if you are screened into a particular database where you would be given a chance to interview. So there will be questions which involve criminal record, which ask you questions like your education, like a guy just asked me here, do marks really matter? And he got 60% in both engineering and 12. Now there might be a screening question in there. Have you scored more than 60% in 10th and 12th? Now, ideally, I would suggest that you say truth, but then we are there to get jobs. So how do we get them? Oh, so you guys need to tell me that you can see uh, content properly on my screen. Just hold on a second and I should be able to do that. Uh, now I'm going to share that screen. Yeah, that's my apartment. and I live by myself, so it's kind of boring. PowerPoint slideshow. Start screen share. Perfect. Uh, okay, can you guys see the PowerPoint slideshow, the slide deck properly? Uh, Wait, I guess I got disconnected from TitanPad. Just a second, guys. There is some kind of a connectivity issue, and we are trying to reconnect on TitanPad. Okay, I guess I'm in. Um, can can I can someone tell me if they can see the slide deck clearly? Okay. This is kind of interesting. Can you guys see my slide deck? I don't know if you can. Kind of stuck here. Okay, I'm going to move forward. So, like I said, so how do you tackle that kind of a question, which is a screening question, and you're just at that particular border, and you really want that job, you really want to get into the database, and you know that if you answer no to that question, you would be left out. So my suggestion is not something which I'm advocating, but and I really suggest that you guys say the truth, and this is going to be out there in the public domain, so all the more reason for me to withdraw all my consent from it. But a lot of people, what they do is they say yes. Now, once they're asking how if you have got a 60 percentage in class 12, there would definitely be some kind of a subject where you've gotten more than 60%. Just say it on basis of that. Just say that, yeah, I got more than 60% in class 12 in this subject if somebody asks you later. But it's just a way of working around. It's just a way of satisfying your inner self, your inner conscience, that you're not really lying, but you actually are. So uh, though I would not suggest it, but sometimes if you have to do it, do it. Uh, yeah, this I'm going to help for. So these are some of the tricky questions: the education gaps, job hopping. You need to be careful of them. In case you've changed a particular job, worked at another job for just a week, and then moved on to the third job, don't show the job in the middle. Just show that you were taking a vacation for a week. So things like that. Just be careful about what you're sharing and what you're not. You need to be a normal, complete, cohesive person with no criminal history, who is not hopping from one job to another. Uh, and this slide is kind of self-explanatory. You follow directions, be neat and complete and concise, provide only positive information. If there is a negative information, it's better withheld. Okay, now after this, when you're called for the interview, uh, the big checklist. No jeans, no tank tops, no shorts, nothing very casual. You're going to go dress business professional. And by business professional, I mean preferably a white shirt, a black trouser, a black jacket, or a suit, black polished shoes with and white socks or black socks, not ankle length, uh, but the regular socks. A watch would be preferred, and with a uh, black suit and white shirt, a red tie is goes very well. Be conservative for girls. No cleavage showing. No showing excessive legs and thighs. A business suit is always preferred. Um, we do not need to see the shape of your butts. Please cover it up with a jacket which goes over your hips. Um, so things like that, be conservative. Details count. Um, and those details could come in terms of your collar pins or a tie pin, or how messy how well done you look from top to bottom in terms of your hair, in terms of of the light perfume you're wearing. Do not overdress. Do not spray yourself with a perfume which is going to tell everybody in a 50 feet distance that you're the one who's making it, you're wearing it. No excessive jewelry for guys. No jewelry at all. um, just be groomed carefully. uh, I am totally unsure what is happening here, if I'm being of any use to people, but I'm just going on presenting right now. uh, for the interview, know what questions to expect, and to do that you need to have left those keywords and those things in your resume which you know that other person will catch and ask you for it. Prepare. Everybody at the beginning of your interview is going to ask you, tell me about yourself. Do not tell them what is on your resume, because they've already read it or they're going to read it in front of you when you're going to talk about tell me about yourself. So tell them about yourself, something personal, something, some kind of a story which relates to to demonstrating a certain skill required by that job. And in that story, you need to leave towards the end a clue or something which makes the other person ask you the next question. So like I told you guys before, how I say tell me about yourself is, so I was I was born to a military family in India, and I did my schooling from 8 different schools across India before settling down in Delhi to do my engineering. This kind of now India is a very big, versatile country with lots of culture and lots of different languages. So this instilled in me openness and adaptability towards people and cultures, and this made me more linguistic. And those terms came in really handy when I managed a 40-member team in China. And uh, then I go ahead with a little more story and close it. Now, I have told him in a small way that I managed a big team in China, and I'm very sure that the next question is going to be on it. So, so leave questions and keywords like that. Uh, so, so now when he would ask me for the details in China, I would tell him about that, and then I would tell him about, and then I would leave a little keyword which I know he's going to ask for the next thing. So I am basically going on prepare making the interviewer ask me the questions I want to be asked. Uh, don't stress out, even if it's a stress interview. If it's a stress interview, it's the best thing to ever happen to you, because all you need to do is just be calm. And if you're calm through the entire thing, if you do not sweat, you are through. You have made it. Uh, and light humor always is always welcome. And you could do it by literally anything, or and a knowledge of the events occurring uh, around that time. For example, I don't know if it's really hot in India right now. I think it is. So I mean, you could just talk about. Uh, it's so nice and pleasant talking to you, and not just because of this, but because also it's outside is so hot and so hot and warm, and just talk about the heat wave and things like that, and how you hate heat, and you know you're just trying to make a small talk or a small conversation with the interviewer before the start of your interview. So that kind of helps create a bond where he knows that he can, if he recruits you, he can be friends with you. He doesn't want to have someone working with him who he cannot talk for 2 hours on plane. So tell him, demonstrate that ability that you can talk to him. Make the atmosphere a little light. At the same time, be respectful. Remember, it's not your arrogance which or appearance. Your arrogance which will give you a job. Your respectful attitude, your appearance, and your manners, they all make a difference. Talk about your accomplishments, skills, and abilities. Talk about all of them in a star format: situation, task, action, and results. Show enthusiasm. When he asks you a question, show him that you're enthusiastic to answer. It's not a lie which you have been caught on a wrong foot with. Always explain in terms of how that particular ability or some can help you do something for the company. It is always great to do a little background research for the company. And when you're doing a background research for the company, ask things about what are their future goals. Look at their mission, their values, try and understand the company's work culture, try and understand why they're hiring the people they're hiring. Look at their CEO's remarks on the first page of their annual report. All those things really, really, really help getting the background information about about a company. uh, Always demonstrate that you're a team player. And when I was a fresher, I demonstrated it because I told them that basketball is a game, which is a game, which is a team game, and uh, however skilled one individual may be, a team a team with five mediocre players who know and who can coordinate other people with other teammates will always win over a team with one highly skilled player. And I told them how I was great at basketball and how and my accomplishments in it, uh, and how I was a team player. So I had no industry experience. That's the only way I could have kind of showed that kind of a team player attitude in there. And so be ready to prepare at least 4 or 5 personality traits and a story which kind of shows those traits out. Turn negative questions into positive answers. Um, Now, like let's go back to that question which one of you asked me about 60% and um, uh, in boards in 12th and in engineering. So if I'm asked a question like, oh, you scored only 60% in 12th and engineering, so you're not academically very strong. So you could turn it into a positive question. You could say that academics are important and they were important to me, but I kept them important only to the way that I could qualify for things. But I spent I know things, I learned things. I maybe could not demonstrate them very well in the exams, but but look at what I did here. Uh, Look at this kind of a thing, or go take the dialogue towards the efficiency of Indian education system in trying to gauge uh, competition. Tell them that you developed a personality. Tell them that you developed a robot, or tell them what you did in that time. Be ready to basically turn the question around. Okay, tell them that Bill Gates was a college dropout. The marks did not matter to him. And now that kind of sounds very arrogant, so don't do that. But use those kind of analogies. Always summarize your strengths, and that could come in your elevator pitch, which is at the beginning when you're trying to do something like tell me about yourself, or do it somewhere in one of the stories which you are making the recruiter ask you. So yeah, these are some of the questions which you should always be prepared for. Tell me about yourself. Why should I hire you? What are your major strengths? What are your weaknesses? What pay are you expecting? So all those questions you need to be kind of prepared for. How does your experience relate to the job? What are your future plans? What will your past bosses say about you? Why this job and why here? What is your personal situation? Now, how do I answer all these questions? Now, you're going to be prepared for them. So, how do you prepare for these questions? Uh, you really need to understand what you're being asked. Uh, by these questions, he's trying to basically understand, can he depend upon you? Are you a good worker? Do you have the experience and training to do the job if hired? And once you're trying to answer any question, you acknowledge his question, you acknowledge the facts, and then say things like, okay, this is this, but, and then you present them as an advantage and not a disadvantage. And that's exactly what I was saying when I was trying to answer that question of 60%. Yes, I got a 60% in 12th and engineering, but I also did build a robot and I did a certification in this, which my peers did not think I did. And those are things which I think would be very interesting and very useful to have if I get to work with Adobe. So, so things like that, you need to turn negative questions into positive answers. Now, the most important third thing is answer the real concern by presenting your related skills. You need, so some a lot of times you would be asked a question which you're not prepared for. Now you need to understand, what is that question really trying to ask you, or what kind of skill set is he trying to really judge on based upon your question, based upon that question. And you need to answer based upon your key skills to demonstrate, you need to say a story which kind of demonstrate one of those personality traits or key skills you have. Salary negotiations, I don't know if that's very relevant, but do not go to salary until you're offered a job. And after you're offered a job, know the base salary, how it is, and try and value yourself a little over it. And if they say no or something to it, do not just leave the job. Just be within it. Uh, yeah. So this is how we work in US. Um, so if the job, you understand from Glassdoor and other reviews that it pays around 15,000, you would say that, yeah, you would expect something from mid to upper teens and things like that. So that's how you do it. But after the interview, you always follow up with a thank you note. Always send them an email or a note or a phone call or a voice note, saying how grateful you are for the interview. Express your gratitude and show, maybe if there was some kind of a question, some kind of a uh, case question or some kind of a technical question which you couldn't really answer at that time, use that follow up to answer that and say that you have been thinking about it, and in your and what you couldn't think on the feet at that time, and you think you would have done if if given more time, is this for this particular situation. So follow it up, use it to remind them about the interview, express gratitude, and complete or tie up any loose ends which you left in your interview. It's a very, very crucial step. So that's about it, I guess. I think we are running out of the job as out of the time as well. So just some final advice: if you want a good job, you have to work at getting that job. Go on a few practice interviews before interviewing for your favorite companies. It's always good. Be prepared. Become well groomed. Your appearance, your manners, your attitude, it all matters. Be prepared for the interview questions. Answer the right way. Sell yourself. It's all about marketing yourself. Explain why they should hire you, and always, always follow up after the interview. So, uh, so that was from me, guys, and I think it again stopped broadcasting. The uh, the screen. So, and I did not know when that happened. So I don't know what all did you guys get or not. But I'm going to send the slide deck over and share it on the group so that whoever wants to use it can use it. And that's from me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope this could help you guys get to wherever you all want to get to. Um, Hasta la vista.